She took the house in the divorce. Then she showed up again for the lottery money. I didn't say much. My lawyer handled it. Hey, Reddit. Caleb here. I'm 41, live in Ohio, and work in logistics. Nothing glamorous, just your average guy living an average life. Or at least, that's how it used to be, until everything flipped upside down. You ever see those lottery horror stories? Where someone wins millions, then a couple years later they are broke, divorced, and living out of a van. This nearly became one of those tales, with a twist. Let's rewind a bit. 7 years ago, I married Melanie. On paper, we looked like the perfect match. She was stunning, quick-witted, charismatic, one of those people who could charm a room or talk a stranger into anything. Me? I was the low-key type. Preferred a backyard grill over a night out. Sundays were for football and avoiding drama. Melanie? She thrived on it. I didn't catch it at first. Love is a way of covering the red flags. She started small. Got everything under her name. The house, the car, even the Costco membership. Said it was just easier that way. I didn't push back. Fast forward 5 years. I'm sleeping in the guest room because she needs space. Then the credit card bill started piling up. $24,000 in spa visits, designer bags, and some girls-only getaway to Cabo I knew nothing about. I only found out when the bank called, asking why I was behind on payments tied to my name. When I asked her about it, she didn't apologize. She called me boring, told me I should feel lucky she ever gave someone like me the time of day. And then she filed for divorce. In her petition, claims of emotional neglect and financial instability. Me, the guy working 60-hour weeks just to keep the lights on and her life comfortable. You couldn't make this stuff up. Here's where it really stings. Because everything was legally in her name and we live in an equitable distribution state, she walked away with nearly everything. The house I paid for, the sub I surprised her with for our anniversary, even half of my retirement savings. I was left with some clothes, a PS5, and my barbecue grill. By the time the divorce finalized in February, I was renting a cramped 2-bedroom over a dry cleaner, living off frozen burritos and cup noodles. June came, and I genuinely thought I'd hit rock bottom. Turns out, I hadn't. Not yet, because on July 3rd, I stopped at a gas station for a Gatorade and grabbed 2 scratches just for fun. One was worthless. The other? It hit $6.2 million. I stared at that ticket like it was some cosmic prank. 10 full minutes of disbelief. I called my buddy Kyle. He thought I was joking. Or high. I wasn't. I was just a man whose entire life flipped in an instant. A millionaire overnight, with trust issues and a bruised heart. I didn't tell anyone else. Instead, I cashed it through a lawyer, stayed anonymous, set up a trust, and took the lump sum after taxes. That left me with a bit over $4 million. Not enough to buy a private island, but definitely enough to retire the ramen noodles. And you know what I did first? Nothing. No flashy car. No social media flex. Didn't even upgrade my phone. After meeting with a financial advisor and a rock-solid lawyer, I locked in some smart investments, paid off my truck, and kept things low-key. That calm lasted exactly 3 weeks, until she showed up again. Melanie. Out of the blue, my phone lit up with a text. Hey, stranger. Just wanted to see how you're doing. Want to catch up over coffee sometime. I stared at that message like it had fangs. 2 things hit me right away. First, she never used emojis when we were together. Not once. Second, she hadn't checked in on me once since the day the divorce papers were signed. So, I ignored it. 2 days later, another message. I heard something. Not sure if it's true. If it is, maybe we should talk. Love. That one punched me in the gut. I'd only told 2 people, Kyle and my attorney. Turned out Kyle's girlfriend let it slip to her cousin, who told her hairdresser, who just so happened to do Melanie's hair. Classic small-town telephone. Still, I didn't reply. I just took screenshots and forwarded everything to my lawyer, Paula. Side note, hiring Paula was the best decision I've ever made. The woman is a legal hurricane, steel backbone, razor-sharp mind, and the patience of a saint. But Melanie wasn't done. She started turning up the pressure. First, she showed up at my workplace just to say hi. Then came the basket of muffins left at my door. Voicemails, tears, long messages about forgiveness and how life's too short to stay angry. And then she dropped the nuke. She filed a motion in court, claiming our divorce agreement had been unfair, that I'd intentionally concealed significant assets during the proceedings. Let that sink in. She was arguing that I had the lottery winnings, even though I'd won after we were no longer legally married. I didn't even need to show up in court. Paula handled everything. When she walked in, she brought a war chest of evidence, time-stamped emails, bank transactions, tax documentation, and an official statement from the State Lottery Commission showing exactly when I purchased the ticket and claimed the prize. Melanie's lawyer tried to argue I had anticipated the win and should have disclosed the possibility. The judge literally chuckled. Then he tossed the case, with prejudice, which meant Melanie couldn't bring it back. She stormed out of the courtroom. Word is she screamed at her lawyer, threw her purse on the ground, and sobbed in the parking lot for nearly an hour. Me? I wasn't there to see it. I was on my balcony with a cold beer in hand, watching the lake shimmer beneath the sun. You ever tasted peace? It tastes like winning. Now I live in a cozy house on the lake. It's nothing extravagant, but it's got a screened porch and a dock where I fish on lazy weekends. I donate to the local animal shelter, take quiet trips now and then, nothing flashy, just places where no one knows my name. As for Melanie, she's dating some guy who teaches crypto secrets on Instagram. I genuinely hope the guy she's with now has better luck than I did. As for me, no regrets. Not even about the marriage. That chapter taught me everything I needed to learn about guarding my peace, making smarter choices, and trusting my lawyer to do the heavy lifting. A month after the judge tossed out her baseless claim, I thought that was it. Case closed. Drama over. But Melanie has a way of crawling back into your life like a glitch in the system, unwanted, unexpected, and impossible to ignore. One crisp October morning, I was out on the porch with my coffee, watching ducks squabble across the lake, when I heard a knock at the door. Figured it was either Amazon or my neighbor Joe needing a jump start again. Nope. Standing there, dressed in pearls and holding a tray of banana bread like a peace treaty, was none other than her mother. "Caleb, sweetheart," she said, voice dripping with artificial sweetness. "Melanie's been having a tough time lately. She's not herself. Sure, she's made mistakes, but who hasn't? Maybe you could help her get back on her feet." I just stared for a beat, like she'd asked me to loan a kidney to someone who lit my house on fire. "You mean the same Melanie who took everything I had and tried to sue me for money she didn't own?" I asked. Her expression twitched. She tried the emotional card. You know how girls can get when they're scared. I didn't dignify that with a response. I just said, "Tell Melanie I said hi, and goodbye," and closed the door. She left the banana bread on the porch like it was going to fix everything. I gave it to the neighbor's dog. 3 days later, Melanie herself reached out, via email. That's how I knew she was really grasping. Who even emails anymore unless it's for work? It was a mess of a message, long, emotional, full of "I never stopped loving you," and we were just under so much stress. She wrote that the house meant nothing without me, that money couldn't buy happiness, but maybe it could buy them a second chance. I forwarded it to Paula, just in case Melanie decided to get creative again. But then she took things public. One night I'm scrolling through Facebook, and there it is, a post from her, set to public. A carefully curated selfie, pouty expression, sitting alone on a park bench. The caption? "Some people win the lottery and lose their soul." Not naming names, but wow. Just wow. The comments exploded. Half of her friends rushed in with, "You deserve better and stay strong, Queen." But the other half, the ones who knew what really happened, they didn't hold back. One guy wrote, "You stole his house, tried to sue him for money he won after you left, and now you're playing victim? Sit down." Another dropped a popcorn GIF. It was glorious. And just when I thought the circus was finally packing up, Melanie pulled one last stunt. She showed up at my job. Now, I work in distribution, warehouse floor, forklifts, high-vis vests, steel toe boots. Not exactly the place for grand romantic gestures. One of the guys walked over, looking half amused, half terrified. "Hey, Caleb, there's a lady up front says she's your wife." Wife, not ex-wife. I walked up front and, yep, There she was, full glam, hair done, heels, fake tears already in her eyes. "Caleb," she said, loud enough for the receptionist to hear, "please, just listen to me. I made a huge mistake. I never should have left you. Now, I don't like making scenes. I keep my cool. But enough was enough. Calmly, I said, "Melanie, this is harassment. You need to leave now, or I'll involve the police." She blinked like I'd slapped her. "You wouldn't do that," she whispered. "Oh, I won't," I said. "But my lawyer, she lives for this kind of thing." She left, and that was the last time I saw her in person. You're probably wondering what I did with the money. No, it's not Lamborghinis and popping bottles. I kept my job, just part-time now. Keeps me grounded. I bought my mom a cozy home closer to her sisters, so they can gossip in person instead of shouting over the phone. I started a college fund for my niece, and one for myself too, just in case I ever go back. I travel sometimes, quiet places where nobody knows who I am. I fish. I sit on the porch and watch the world go by. I've been learning guitar, badly, but joyfully. I support a few causes that matter to me. I take naps in the middle of the day because I can. Peace doesn't always look like a mountaintop or a mansion. Sometimes it's just a quiet morning and a phone that doesn't light up with your ex's name. Other times, peace is knowing you could ruin someone in court. But you don't need to, because your lawyer already did it for you.